Hello and welcome to my final week 10 of Startup Ideation. We did our final pitch today, our final speech. So we had people come in. So we had two guest speakers and the unit chair from Deakin come in and sit and watch our speeches and our pitches and give us some live feedback and then ask us like a live Q&A. So basically we were marked, and the process was basically how well did we convey our idea? Did people get what we were talking about? Did we actually fix the solution? Was our idea innovative? How we thought it through? What were the aspects we thought through? So we'd present our pitch and see how much we were like convincing or like got our idea across. And then the panel would ask us questions, that was probably the most nerve-wracking bit, because I knew that we'd do pretty good on our speech, which we ended up doing pretty well on. But the questions were going to throw a bit of a spanner in the works, because it depends what they asked. Have we thought about that before going in? So they asked questions about revenue streams, like market strategies, interviews. Have you thought of how you're going to get people involved in this process? Maybe they would ask, how are you going to get people on the platform? How are you going to retain customers? Have you thought about this, and this? So it really tests your idea of how well you've thought your brand idea through and your startup through, which is good, but it's challenging. So we did our speech. We added in from last week, our feedback was to add in more pain point slides, and I wanted to add in more mock-up slides, which I'm so glad we did. And then we also added in slides at the very end. So after we had our final slide, we said we had this little section called extra slides, and then it had anything. So for if the judges asked questions about specific things, we could pull on that. So like market strategies, revenue streams and everything. The questions that the judges ended up asking us were very different than I expected them to be, which was quite funny, because I was sitting there listening. We were the third last people to go, and the questions that were asked for everybody else, I was like, yeah, fair enough, maybe we'll get that. Didn't get any of them, but I'm not even mad about it. I think our questions were really interesting and different. So we finished our pitch, and I think it went pretty well. I think we all spoke pretty well, and the judges seemed to get the idea, the feedback. It was fun, it was cute, it was well put together. And then the first question was, so is this based on like location, or is it further out? Or so our app, we basically pitched, we have a social platform that allows you to reserve a table of 10 at any restaurant of a group of unknown peers. So it's basically a Tinder style. So like you're on the app in the home screen, and you swipe, you get a restaurant come up, and it will say like, our example was Thai, which is a restaurant in Melbourne, and you're either interested or you're not. So you're like, yes, absolutely, I love Thai. And so you swipe right, and it takes you in, and you just click book now. So have the date, have the time, and book now, and you just click book now, and it reserves you a seat at this table of 10. And all your job is to basically just show up. But you also, in the feature of this, you get access to the table. So, but to the table, I mean to the group of people that are going. So you have your own profile, and everybody else who's on the app would also have their own profile. And the table, or the group of people you're going with, but the table would have their own chat. So you can ask in the chat, what are you wearing? So you've got everybody's names and profiles in the chat. And then you can also add friends individually. So that's basically the idea. So you'd go to these dinners, and you'd meet people, and then you'd have everybody's profiles and names in the chat to connect afterwards. But you could also add people individually. So that was our premise. And the first question was, would this be like location based, or like, so I travel a lot, and if I'm in Sydney, would I be able to just jump on Chatable and get a table? And the answer was yes and no. So like we said that it is location based. At the moment, it's just we'll focus in Melbourne and getting it up and running. But the idea is it will show you'd be able to select very Tinder style, the location range of how many people are going to be in that how many people, how many restaurants you'd like in the circle near you, and how many kilometers you're willing to like go to get to a restaurant. But we said you can't create your own event, because the idea is going to event with people you don't know. That's the premise of the app. So we talked a bit about that, but I liked the idea of like in Sydney or in like different places and stuff. So like I said, we definitely, that would be the goal, but like gotta start small. And then the next question was why did you pick the demographic of young adults? Because this idea of like loneliness and struggling to make connections connects to a lot of people. And I was like, yes, well, absolutely. It connects to the elderly. It connects to people in their 30s. It connects to people in their 50s. It connects to people who maybe they're in midlife crisis. Like, why did you just pick young adults? And the answer we basically said was, well, because we're young adults and you're experts in your own field. And from our perspective, this is what we know best. And this is who we know to target best, just because that's who we are. And that's who we would be as business owners. So we picked young adults because that's the easiest people we could relate to. And I think that's the demographic that would probably jump onto like marketing and social media marketing the quickest. So that was the answer to that. And then we also got a question from the unit chair, Wayne, and he was like, well, this is targeted at like introverts and getting people out to meet, but like, how are you overcoming that fear point? Because yes, you've provided a service, but it's not less any scary. And then I said, I was very happy that I had thought about this previously. It wasn't an idea that we really put it fully into fruition, like in the slides, but it's something that we had thought about. Is like, so when people are sitting down, so basically the answer is, well, we had thought of this idea to have this feature that when people are sitting down at the table, they get there, that it's kind of like a Be Real kind of timed effect. So like the timing slot from 7 to maybe the dinner's at 7, so 8, 9. So from 7 to 9 for the 2-hour period, periodically every like 20 minutes, half an hour, everybody will get a card that pops up on their phone with a question. And so everybody can ask questions and then also have like take a photo of the group that'll get uploaded to the feed sort of thing that's timed, that you have to do in the 2 hours, and it gets posted. So then people are actually getting prompts and everything, so the conversation isn't stagnant and it's continuously moving along to help feed that natural conversation in a fun kind of way. So we talked a bit about that. But yeah, overall, I was quite happy with how everything went. I think we answered the questions pretty well. And it's all done now, which is kind of weird, but I'm very happy. I feel like I learned a lot from beginning to end of like building a business from ground up. At the start, I felt like it was very slow, and then I felt like it was slow, and then all of a sudden it just went like so fast in the past, like I think like the last 4 weeks, from like week 6 onwards, it was just like one thing after the other, and it just kind of like went really quickly. So like the first couple of weeks were really building that base knowledge, and then all of a sudden it just like skyrocketed in like, get your idea, test your idea. Is your idea not good? Change it, pivot, make sure it's valid, make sure you're seeking validation. Now you're creating ideas, you're prototyping, you're now creating your pitch, your PowerPoint. Have you thought about all the ideas? Have you thought about your revenue streams? Is it done? And then you go in, you do your test pitch, then you alter your test pitch, and then you're pitching, and that's done. So bit chaotic, but overall good. And I think it was a really good learning experience, and I think I got a lot out of it, and I think it was quite fun, and I really liked the creative aspects of it. So that was also really good. But yeah, that was my last week. So success. Hopefully it was all good. I guess we'll see when we get marks back, but that is all. Bye-bye.